Let's take a look at some of the headlines that got us talking this week.
Yeah, joining us are comedian Philip Simon and the activist and author Dr. Shola Mos-Shogbamimu. Now, it's lovely to see you both, really lovely, and thank you very much for joining us. Now, the vest that Sean is wearing, this, obviously, he's feeling warm. It was sort of developed by a company called Over the Bloody Moon, who campaign for menopausal awareness. Now, some MPs, male MPs, took part in a trial wearing the vest, and they said the hot flush vest was unbearable. In fact, some described it as volcanic and very uncomfortable. Do you think that doing a trial like this for guys, poor Sean, for guys, is going to raise awareness? You know, because the House of Commons have recently pledged to become more menopausal friendly. Do you think it makes a difference?
I think anything that will get men to understand the shoes women have to walk every single day and the decisions that we have to make. Anything is helpful. The only thing is typical of men to be so dramatic about it, volcanic and all of this. The point here is, it shouldn't have to take men wearing our shoes or wearing this jacket. When we say certain things, we expect you to pay attention. And it's just like the issue around abortion rights. Oh, you don't have an absolute right. I bet if men were giving birth to children...
This is what I think. I think
we have absolute right.
I kind of agree with you, because I think if men were going through, these... Because how many symptoms? Maybe 50 odd symptoms? I think they'd be very much aware of it in the House of Commons.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so, yeah, what do you think, Philip? Would you like to wear a vest?
I think this escalated quicker than I was imagining.
Over to you.
What I would say, I think it's great that MPs are trying to do something to, as you said, put themselves in the shoes of other people. It's nice to see MPs with vests on fire for a change rather than their pants. I think that's my take on it.
Yeah, we've ended that. I've switched it
exactly.
off. Philip, tell me about your story.
My story in the Times. Yes, this was about, actually similar thinking about politicians at the moment in the UK, but in America they did a study which showed that people who are born with money tend to be more sympathetic to the poor than self-made millionaires, for instance. And I think interesting, we look at Parliament at the moment and you look at the rich folk making decisions about poverty and everything else. But in this study, it was really surprising because you would assume that if people have been poor, they might understand what that was like. But it's the complete opposite.
Yeah, there's no empathy there, is it? You'd think that having come from poverty, you would have empathy, but actually, I guess they probably feel, I've done it, so why can't you?
Shola, you've got a story from the Mail.
Yes, so Marta Kaufman, who is the co-creator of Friends, has shared with the world that she's recently undergone an awakening of social and racial justice, and that now she better understands that she's been part of the problem when it comes to systemic racism.
I've looked through how many episodes of Friends there were, 236, only 27 black characters, most of them were delivery men and all that, so I get that. But then I used to watch Friends, and I used to watch it, and I just understood that it was 6 white people in a white world. And that's sort of how it is. And I also watched The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and I was different.
And I watched Friends too.
Should we be judging stuff in the past? And Philip, what do you think?
I think it's about what people see on TV, and it's about seeing themselves reflected back at them in the screens. You know, you look at the recent casting of Doctor Who with Ncuti Gatwa, who is an amazing actor and is probably going to do an excellent job as Doctor Who, but the reaction on social media was certainly very much, well, it's just woke, isn't it? It's just casting because he's black. And they don't give people a chance to prove themselves in a role. So if there's someone who's finally taking responsibility for it, I'm gonna have to say I read the story and I was really moved by the fact that someone was waking up to this fact. Comedically, I was kind of thinking, I want to applaud her for her actions, but I didn't know if it was 4 claps or 5. It's confusing.
We haven't got long. I just got to get my story in from The Sun. Jesus Crust. A cafe threatened over jokey cheeses sarnie. So a bakery which sells a £4 cheese and onion chutney sandwich called Jesus Christ was threatened with legal action by an anonymous customer who actually turned out to be falsely claiming to be acting on behalf of a Christian organisation. Now, they've got a few sandwiches with puns. One of them is in one ear, out the other for a roast beef sandwich, a BLT sandwich called Don't Go Bacon My Heart. And Philip, what do you think? Is it offensive when you start to use Jesus or Christ in sandwiches?
No, I think that's fine. I think it's quite offensive to comedy, some of those puns that they've come up with. I mean, during lockdown, I published a children's joke book, so I think puns are good. I think cheese puns are gooder. But no, I think for me, I mean, they called the sandwich Jesus Christ. I think that's because probably the first person that ordered it was astonished it was £4.
Yeah,
It's quite
I
special.
What is
love that.
Cheese and onion sandwich.
Great, thank you very much, both of you.